I want to thank you for your support and the finances you provided us in Wisconsin for our fight, our continuing fight. You know, it's 11 months to the day today that Scott Walker rolled out Act 10 to take away the collective bargaining rights of all employees in the state of Wisconsin, except for police and fire. You know, you saw a short video clip up there, and I wish I could say that we had a Hollywood ending to that. I wish I could stand here and say that we got elected a fair and impartial person to the Wisconsin Supreme Court. I can't say that. I wish I could say that we had Act 10 struck down for the unlawful way that they voted it in. I can't say that. I wish I could say that we regained control of the state Senate. We fell one short. I can't say that. We haven't had that Hollywood ending yet. We haven't had that hero ride in on the white horse and make everything all right at the last moment. It's still a work in progress. Next week on Tuesday, we'll deliver over 700,000 signatures to recall Scott Walker. And hopefully after the lawsuits, that we will have a recall election in August of this year or before. But what we did get out of this was a dose of reality. It's not an uplifting story. In August of last year, every state employee, every school teacher, every other public employee that wasn't a police or a firefighter that was not under contract lost on average of $4,500 a year. That's real money. They didn't get time to budget it. They didn't get time to rearrange what they had, their payments, their car payments, their house payments, their payments to the daycares. It just happened. After Act 10 was placed into law, the governor then had his budget passed, which slashed shared revenue to the school districts, to the municipalities. Even though he had claimed that with the passage of Act 10 that everybody would be able to make their budgets, this was untrue. My city, the city of Madison, a $28 million shortfall that they had to make up. And they could only make it up with coming to the police and the firefighters to reopen the contracts. Or they were going to lay off 100 other public employees. They weren't going to lay off cops and firefighters. The cops were going to roll over, give back the pension contribution, give back the health insurance. We pulled them in with all the city unions in Madison and came up with a deal. We would reopen our contracts as long as we were able to maintain the bars for all the other employees, that there was no other layoffs of any other employee. And we achieved that deal. You know, we're supposed to be exempt from the bill, but when they passed that budget, they made it unlawful for police and firefighters to bargain health insurance plans. They also made it that new employees would have to pay the 5.9% pension, which we negotiated years ago. We gave up wages to get. And we had to make sure that we didn't have a two-tier system. Police and firefighters aren't exempt. The first day after Act 10 went into play, the New Berlin School District, at their school board meeting, the school board president took the New Berlin teachers' contract and threw it in the trash and pulled out a handbook. It increased their work day, increased the hours of their work week. It took away vacation. It took away sick leave. They even required each teacher to make sure that if they had a buttoned-up shirt, it was buttoned to the top. No more skirts above the knees. And there wasn't anything that anybody could do about it. Village of Greenfield, where cops and firefighters were exempt. They pitted the retirees, retired firefighters and cops, against the active firefighters and cops. They're under the same health insurance plan. They told them, you're going to have to pay a $10,000 deductible unless the Greenfield firefighters and cops pay up the 5.9% pension contributions. At the Village of Greenfield meeting, 40 retirees showed up to 2 active firefighters. And the 40 retirees lobbied the village board to take the 5.9% from the active firefighters. It's again the haves and the have-nots. Who's going to be the haves and who's going to be the have-nots? In Kenosha, the retirees in Kenosha just got notice where they once paid $500 in deductible for a single, $1,000 deductible in a family. It went from $5,000 and $10,000. They didn't get to plan for that. And it wasn't illegal. They could just do it. In November of this year, Wisconsin lost 14,600 jobs. 2,600 of them were public employees. The preschool that my kids go to laid off teachers and combined students because many of the public employees couldn't afford to send their kids to preschool anymore. Small businesses were closing their doors and continue to close their doors. Banks are calling in loans to the small businesses and putting them out of work. The public defenders and the prosecuting attorneys and the district attorneys are leaving the state in droves because of 14 furlough days, slashed benefits. Crimes are going unprosecuted. The courts are backed up. And this is all to supposedly balance a budget. The acts of theft and crimes in the cities are going up. Again, to balance a budget. But what they did was destroy the unions. 40% of the unionized employees in the state unions are not paying their dues anymore because they don't have to. And the reason they're not paying is that little amount they used to pay is making up for the $4,500 that they've lost. There's no rights to bargain anymore. There is no ability, as it sits right now, to get any of that back. This isn't someone just up here talking to you and saying, this is what might happen. This is what happened in a few short months. Today, we're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to try to maintain the benefits that we have. In Dane County, all the unions in Dane County, the public employee unions, meet every 2 weeks to identify who's the latest threat, to look at the candidates that are running for office, from school boards to city councils to whatever it is. We need to spend the money to make sure that this never happens again. We know what it's like things that you worked 50 years for, that my father worked for years to get for us, taken away in a short period of time. We're going to spend millions to recall the governor, to stop the bleeding. They're going to come after us with an estimated $70 million to ensure that Scott Walker retains his job. $70 million. We had great help from the IFF and General President Schaeferger. $250,000 in the recall elections to get 2 seats back. We're going to have great help from the IFF again in the recall of Scott Walker. But we may get that recall taken care of. We may recall Scott Walker. We're pinning all our hopes on that. But it's going to take millions of dollars to get back what we lost in 11 months. Now, if I were to go back in time 2 years ago, given what I know now, and having our members know what has happened since, and ask them for $100 each to save $4,500 out of their pocket, there wouldn't be a person there that would refuse to do that. If 2 years ago we had taken every election serious, we had our members with their feet on the ground, canvassing, knocking on doors, and making sure that we had candidates elected that supported working men and women in this country and in Wisconsin, we wouldn't be in the position that we are today. If we spent the time and the effort educating our neighbors to the job that public employees do, that every person does that works for a living, that there isn't any haves or have-nots in this 99%. The haves or have-nots is the difference between the 1% and the 99%. If we would have done that work back 2 years ago, we wouldn't be in the situation we are today. You know, I've heard a little bit out here that, it's up to the California professional firefighters to lead the charge again. Where are the cops? Where are the other public employees? Where are these people? And usually I wear my IFF pin up here. What I have up here is a pin I received from the Department of Labor. Mark Sanders got one too. And we were invited to the Department of Labor's Christmas party in December to honor what we did in Wisconsin and what we did in Ohio. And this pin reminds me that this is the only thing that the federal government, the Department of Labor, the President of the United States did for us in Wisconsin and Ohio. It makes me understand that we have to do it ourselves with our locals, with our members, with our state association, and with the IFF. And we have to do it not only for ourselves, but for all the other working people out there that don't have a union as bold and aggressive as ours. We are the standard bearer. The California professional firefighters are the standard bearer out here. Now, when I was here in April, I told a story about Cassius Clay and Sonny Liston, and how Sonny Liston was the greatest fighter in the world, and the only way that Cassius Clay was going to beat him was to beat him before he ever got in the ring. It's your turn. The Wisconsin firefighters had led the fight in Wisconsin. The Ohio firefighters have led the fight in Ohio. It's your turn. to beat these people. It's your turn to call out those people that seek to destroy your livelihood. Fight me here, fight me now. It's your turn to call those out that are seeking to destroy your ability to earn a decent wage. Fight me here, fight me now. It's your turn to call those people out that seek to take away your ability to provide your children with an education. Fight me here, fight me now. It's your turn to call those out, those people that seek to take away your health insurance. Fight me here, fight me now. It's your turn to call those people out that seek to take away a decent retirement for yourselves. Fight me here, fight me now. And most importantly, it's your turn to call those people out that seek to take away your voice in California, that seek to impose paycheck protection on you. It's your turn to call them out. Fight me here, fight me now. Thank you.